Welcome back to Mach 1 Mindset. Today we're diving into AP European History 1.7 Colonial Rivals. Before we get started, please make sure you like, subscribe, and of course comment down below if you have any questions. Let's dive right into it. Today we are going to analyze how European colonial competition intensified between the 16th and the 18th centuries, and how rivalries reshaped global power. While Spain and Portugal dominated early exploration, their control weakened as England, France, and the Netherlands emerged as major colonial powers. By the 1500s, European states viewed overseas expansion as essential to national strength. Colonies provided raw materials, markets, and strategic advantages. Colonial expansion was not just economic. It was political and military, driven by mercantilism and constant rivalry between the states. Spain and Portugal dominated the first phase of colonization. Portugal built a trading empire focused on coastal ports rather than large land empires. Under Prince Henry the Navigator, Portugal invested heavily in navigation, cartography, and maritime training. Portuguese merchants established trading posts along the African coast, in Brazil, and across the Indian Ocean. The empire focused on spices, gold, and enslaved labor rather than large-scale settlement. Spain pursued territorial conquest. Spanish conquistadors seized vast empires in the Americas, including the Aztec and Inca civilizations. Spain extracted wealth through this economic system, which forced indigenous people to labor for Spanish landowners. Spanish colonization was closely tied to Catholic missionary efforts, especially through the work of the Jesuits. Spain's wealth depended heavily on silver from the Americas from mining. To reduce conflict, Spain and Portugal signed the Treaty of Tordesillas in 1494. This agreement divided newly discovered lands between the two powers. Spain controlled most of the Americas, while Portugal focused on Africa and Asia. Although the treaty initially stabilized Iberian rivalry, it did not prevent future competition from other European states. By the 17th century, Iberian dominance began to decline. Spain suffered from inflation, military overextension, and reliance on American silver rather than domestic industry. Portugal struggled to defend its far-flung trading posts. This created equal opportunities for new colonial powers to rise. The Netherlands emerged as a leading commercial empire. The Dutch Republic prioritized trade over territorial conquest. Merchant oligarchies governed Dutch provinces, encouraging economic efficiency and innovation. The Dutch built the largest merchant navy in Europe and dominated shipping routes. Religious tolerance attracted skilled workers and investors, strengthening the economy. The Dutch India Company, or VOC, played a crucial role in Dutch success. It was a state-backed trade monopoly with power to wage war, negotiate treaties, and govern colonies. The VOC displayed Portugal in much of the Indian Ocean spice trade and established the control in regions such as Indonesia. Dutch exploration, including Henry Hudson's voyages, led to settlements in New Amsterdam, later known as New York. France pursued different colonial strategy. French colonies were concentrated along the St. Lawrence River, the Mississippi River, and the Caribbean. France focused on the fur trade, forming alliances with indigenous peoples rather than large-scale settlement. Catholic missionaries attempted to convert Native Americans, reinforcing France's religious goals. In the Caribbean, France developed profitable sugar plantations, particularly St. Domingue, modern-day Haiti. These plantations relied heavily on enslaved African labor and generated immense wealth. Despite the success, France struggled to compete with Britain for global naval dominance and eventually lost much of its influence in India after the 7 Years' War. England developed a settlement-based colonial empire. English colonies along the eastern coast of North America emphasized agriculture, trade, and population growth. England became deeply involved in the Atlantic slave trade, supplying labor to plantations in the Americas and the Caribbean. A major turning point came in 1588 when England defeated the Spanish Armada. This victory established England as a leading naval power and weakened Spanish dominance. Colonial competition led directly to major European wars. The incesto system allowed foreign nations to supply enslaved Africans to Spanish colonies, increasing rivalry in the Atlantic world. The War of the Spanish Succession erupted after the death of Charles II of Spain, who left no heir. European powers feared a union between France and Spain. The war ended with the Peace of Utrecht in 1713, which prevented that union and marked Spain's decline as a major colonial power. The 7 Years' War further reshaped colonial dominance. This global conflict involved fighting in Europe, North America, the Caribbean, Africa, and India. Britain emerged victorious, gaining control of much of Northern America and India. France lost significant colonial territory, confirming Britain as the dominant global empire. In conclusion, colonial rivalry transformed Europe and the world. Early Iberian dominance gave way to Northern European powers driven by trade, naval strength, and economic efficiency. These rivalries fueled global wars, expanded slavery, and reshaped international power structures. Colonial competition was not a side effect of exploration. It was the engine that drove European expansion and global conflict.